Hey everyone, I'm Erin and this is the Cardboard Republic. We're bringing you a December haul video, so 10 of the most exciting games, or most interesting games, or most whatever games we got in during the month of December. Let's get started. The Goonies Adventure game is one that Ryan is particularly excited for. I'll admit that I kind of missed the boat on the Goonies fanfare. I'm not the target audience for that one, but he's pumped. It's a cooperative game about living out the Goonies adventure. You're a bunch of kids. You look for treasure. It's pretty intro level, which is kind of nice, especially given the theme and how appealing it is to a lot of people. So I know he's actually already played this and liked it. I'm sure that I will be playing it at some point, and we'll let you know how that goes. Eon's End is a cooperative deck builder game, but there's kind of a catch. In this game, you never actually go through and shuffle your deck again. So you have to be very, very careful in how you manage this as you're fighting against whatever monster is out at the moment. Every time you play, you face a different bad guy, so the games are different. I really, really love deck builders, and we've been playing a lot of cooperative deck builder or cooperative card games lately, so I'm curious to see how this stacks up. I've noticed kind of a trend in gaming lately where there are just a lot of co-op deck builders on the market. So I've heard good things about Eon's End, and I'm excited to try it for myself. Pandemic Iberia is another game that I'm pretty excited for. It's set on the Iberian Peninsula back in the day. It's set in the past. And what's really, really interesting about this is it's set there because the last Pandemic World Championship took place on the Iberian Peninsula, either in Portugal or in Spain. So this is exciting. They are going to be doing that most likely for every single World Championship. You know, wherever they have the game, they're going to release a special version of Pandemic that takes place there. I'm not sure how that's going to go as a long-term strategy, because that's like a lot of variants to put out. But I am excited to try this very first one and see how it stacks up to traditional Pandemic and Pandemic Legacy. Forged in Steel is a game that's probably more up Ryan's alley than mine, but that said, it does look pretty interesting. There's a lot going on with this game. Primarily, it's a city building game, a development game. It's set during the Industrial Age, but like, look at that back of the box text. There's also a companion guide to the game that lists, or doesn't list, that describes all of the history that this game is kind of condensing into a playable format. And that is super, super cool. But it also makes it a little hard to just read the box and figure out what's going on. So I grasped that there is definitely city building. No two games are alike. They really, really emphasize that. So there are things you can do during the game to just completely change the game state. I think that's pretty neat. There's definitely a lot more in here, but unfortunately I couldn't dig through all of the historical text yet in order to get at the actual gameplay. So I'm probably going to leave that part of it up to Ryan, and I will tell you what I think of the actual game once I get to play it. Solarius Mission is a game that is also kind of a development builder game, but it's set in space. The whole premise is that the world has become densely overpopulated. And in order to escape that, we humans have to flee and find another planet to take over. We spend the game looking for other planets, building space stations, trading with each other. There's a lot going on. It's basically like a whole civilization game, only it's set in space instead of in whatever European history book you want. I'm excited to try it because I do like that kind of game, but it does seem maybe a little bit on the drier side. We shall see. Cry Havoc is probably a game that you've heard of before. It really, really made the board game media rounds not too long ago because not only is it a tactical game, which a lot of people really love, but it also has these amazing minis. And together, those things really tend to catch board game media's eye because they're super great to photograph and talk about, and there's just a lot going on with this game. Production quality is very good, and overall people really like it. Ryan got it for Christmas, and I think that it is probably not going to be a game for me. It's a little too in your face. But that said, I really hope that he likes it and can play it with friends who are not me. Tramways is a bit of an odd game. So on its surface, it is about building the most efficient 1920s era public transportation network that you can. But just from reading the back of the box, it seems like, at least thematically, there's something else going on there. It mentions this strange clinic. It mentions having to make sure all your citizens get enough rest. I don't really know. It almost seems like there's something deeper to the theme that is just not really spelled out, which I kind of hope is true, because that would be really neat. But anyway, regardless of the theme, it is primarily a game about building a transportation network. So that is what you're going to want to buy it for. I hope that I'm right about the weird theme, but I'm probably not. So, Tramways, I'll let you know. One Deck Dungeon is a cooperative dungeon delving game for 1 to 4 players. This little box can do 1 to 2 players, but you can combine it with another one to do an additional 2 players for a total of 4 players. Stick with me now. So, One Deck Dungeon is really neat all on its own, but what caught people's eye when it first appeared on Kickstarter was that all of the artwork was of women. All of the characters were women, and that made people really angry, and that made people really happy, and that made people be like, why is this a big deal? But I'm going to tell you why it's a big deal, because that's never really happened before. And the developers went out of their way to make sure that they had representation of women in their game, and I applaud that. And so we have a copy of it, and a bunch of our friends have a copy of it, and we're gonna put them together, and we're gonna make a big dungeon, and we're gonna explore it as chicks. The Arkham Horror card game is another cooperative card-based game. That is our theme for the month, apparently. In this, each player plays as an investigator going through different scenarios set in the Arkham Horror, like Lovecraftian world. I'm not a huge Lovecraft person, but I do love the mythos that Fantasy Flight has created around his work. So I was into this. It was really cool to play an Arkham game that didn't necessarily last like hours and hours and hours, or have to involve like 6 people and 3 tables to make it like worth the setup time. It was really, really fun to just get this to the table and be immersed in that world a little bit, but not quite as much as in a full game of Arkham. So I think this has a place in our collection forever because I love it. But not as much as I love our next game. I got the Murder, She Wrote game. Ryan got this for me for Christmas. It is awesome. The gameplay is probably awful. I haven't tested it yet, but I will. But I don't care, because Murder, She Wrote is like my comfort food TV. I used to watch it with my grandmother when I was really little, and ever since then, when I'm having a bad day, I can put on Murder, She Wrote, and like, it kind of makes it better. It cheers me up. Also, Jessica Fletcher is awesome. So, I now have the Murder, She Wrote game. Everyone who is truly my friend is going to be required to play it with me at least once, and I'm so pumped. Like, I'm trying to find a way that we can put this out so that people can see it, because this is such a talking piece. Who has the Murder, She Wrote game? Now I do, but I'm the only person I've ever known. Okay, so that is our December haul. We got a lot of really cool stuff, but who cares, because I got Murder, She Wrote. So, if you liked this video, and I hope that you did, please like and subscribe down below and leave a comment. It would make JB Fletch super happy. And leave us a little comment with what games you got in over the holidays, or just for the month of December generally. We always love to see what you are playing. We will be back soon with another video. Bye! So they haven't, at least as far as I know, confirmed that they're going to do this every time they have? Okay, they have confirmed One Deck Dungeon is a cooperative dungeon delving game for 1 to 4 players. 2 to 4 players. Nope, 1 to 4 players. Gameplay is probably awful. I think we can all just admit gameplay is probably awful, and I don't care because Murder, She Wrote is my comfort food game. It's my comfort game. Food. TV show. Damn it.